definitely should have won this game today. And we easily could have lost it. Absolutely, Arun. We easily could have lost it. We easily could have lost it. Yeah, we didn't fumble it because of Arteta ball. We didn't fumble it because of Arteta ball, Texas. We did enough. We had 3 clear-cut chances. The one where Saka fumbles it in the box. The one where Zubi, it falls to him in the box and he tries to pass it. The one where Declan Rice tries to pass it. The one where Timber tries to pass it. We should have scored like 4 goals today. It's not Arteta. This is not on Mikel Arteta. Not on Mikel Arteta at all. Brentford were very good today. We knew they would be. We knew they would be, Duke. We absolutely knew they would be, man. Arun, dude, homie. How many chances did we have right there at the end? We should have scored. Nick should have scored. Timber should have scored. Zubi should have scored. Rice should have scored. Why the fuck did we not take those shots? Why did we not take those shots? Ridiculous. Asif says he was hoping we would win. Hey, man, we're still going to win the league. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, that's very, very frustrating that, we were unable to get it done in the end. It's very, very frustrating to see such poor finishing, such ridiculously poor finishing. And I'm sorry, but Martin Odegaard, dude, after he hurt himself again, after he's hurt himself again, he was useless. Absolutely anonymous after he hurt himself again. I don't know what that was about. But he hurt himself and then disappeared from the game. Saka didn't do anything at all. Never even got on the ball once. Gyökeres had a ton of really poor touches. He had some good ones too. Gyökeres had some good ones too. He absolutely worked hard, but we knew it was going to be tough. We absolutely knew it was going to be tough. I thought we abandoned our tactics in the last 15 minutes and just played chaos ball, just played basketball back and forth, back and forth. We're not really controlling the game at the end of the game like we should have been, like we should have been in, concerted possession, but their press was too good. Their press was too good for us today, and so we abandoned our tactics. They were making us hit it long way too much. And so, after when we got desperate, we stopped playing our game after they scored and stopped playing through the lines. David Raya hitting all kinds of long balls in the end. But yeah, that was a rough one. That's going to be a tough one to take because if anyone finishes, if anyone has their finishing boots on, we win this game. The fact that out of all the people on that pitch, Madueke had our goal. The fact that Madueke got our goal is bullshit. Is embarrassing. He was horrendous today. Madueke was awful today, and he's got our goal. Let that sink in. He was terrible, but he's one of the reasons that we didn't lose, that we got the point. But gotta give credit where it's due. Shout out to Gabriel and Mosquera. They both had very good games. Both of them were humongous today. Very, very big. I knew they would have to be versus Igor Thiago, and he made them work. He absolutely made them work. But I think that Zubamendi really struggled. Zubamendi really struggled today. I think he's dead tired, man. He's absolutely gassed. We need Hero up, man. We need to rotate as much as we possibly can in the FA Cup. Play the kids, because Zubi needs to rest. Declan Rice needs to rest. They both worked their socks off in there, but it was very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. We did not win enough of the second balls. We did not win enough of the second balls today. Yeah, Charles, Martinelli should have scored. Martinelli 100% should have scored. I think when you say they were all over us, I would say they had spells. I would say that their main threat, their only threat, really, in open play, we shut them down completely. We shut them down completely in open play. Their only threat was from the chaos, from corners, long throws, etc. And we knew that's what they were going to do. We know that is what they do. We knew they were going to be dangerous. We know Coyotes got the long throw. I'm sure they worked on it, in the 1 or 2 training sessions we may have had in between the last game. I'm sure that we were highly aware that was like their only approach, and we still conceded from it. Unfortunately, Martin Odegaard, instead of marking up, he's trying to kick Lewis Potter, someone who's even shorter than him. Runs in. We seem to have an issue with runners running to the back post. And Martin Odegaard, man, what the hell? What the actual hell was that? If you're hurt, dude, come off. Seriously, if you're hurt, come off. Like we needed you. We needed you to not be hurt. Big time needed you to not be hurt. But if you are, come off the pitch, man. We played down a man after their goal. We literally played down a man after their goal because of he hurt himself. He kicked the shit out of Lewis Potter. He swung his leg as hard as he could, and he hurt himself when we conceded the goal. He should have come off. Yeah, it sucks, but it's better than being a passenger for the rest of the game. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can agree with that, Charles. We definitely looked a little bit tired at times. Definitely looked a little bit tired at times, but I mean, we played Saturday. We have 4 days of rest. That's more than a number of the Premier League teams that had to play, Saturday to Tuesday. Chelsea played Saturday and Tuesday. So, I mean, everybody's tired. Everybody's playing all these games. We have the biggest and best squad in the league. We should be able to handle it. Honestly, but Brentford absolutely battled really hard in the middle of the park today. And I said it that the middle of the midfield battle was going to be very, very, very important for us today. And it was. And I thought it was, it was even. It was definitely even. In the first 20 minutes, we were the better team. I thought we were winning all the second balls. We didn't necessarily have the urgency that I wanted to see, but it tactically, I thought it was all right. And then after their goal, we just didn't weather the first 5. We always know that there's after we score, there's a first 5 minutes where the other team is going to up it, and we just didn't weather that first 5 minutes. They pinned us in and got their goal. Odegaard hurt himself and never recovered. And so it was chaos. It was just absolute and utter chaos after that. Back and forth. Whoever won the second ball got an opportunity, and we should have put it away. We absolutely should have put it away. But it ended up being, like Duke Nukem says, the moments in the game you can point to are what gave us the point. Thiago could have put us away at the end of that game. Could have been 3-1. He could have scored 2 or 3 at the end of the game, but so too should we have. 100%. The amount of time the second and third ball was in the jumping around was getting way too hot to handle. Well, we do that at times. When we get desperate, we just start hoofing it up. We just start kicking it forward and hoping to win the second ball. But when Zubi and Rice have been battling their ass off the whole game to win the second balls, I mean, and we just up the frequency of those second and third balls, 50-50 situations, it's tough for them, Declan Rice is an absolute monster. He's an absolute monster. And, every single time he gets an honorable mention for man of the match, every single time, just because of how hard he works in there, and when the game got stretched, he was still running. he was still, had the engine. Mosquera, I think, was fantastic today. I thought that Gabriel was also fantastic today, and it's an issue. It's really an issue when the guys that have the best games, your men of the match, so to speak, are your defenders, are your defensive midfielders. Zubi really struggled today. He was definitely a passenger. He should have scored. He absolutely should have scored. When the ball drops to you in the 6-yard box and you don't get a shot off, that's worrying. As far as what's going on, bigger picture, table situation, and I think we're fine. I think we're absolutely fine, Charles. As far as the bigger picture is concerned, that's a good point, really, in the end. If you look at it, Brentford just went away to St. James's Park and to Villa Park and won both those games. So Brentford and mugs, absolutely not. And, I think that we did well not to lose. That's for sure. Gap's at 4 points. So, it's still a 2-game swing. I'm fine with that. We'll get to play Wolves next week, and we'll have, got to win that one to put the points on the board. And then, we will have played a game more for the next 5 weeks. It'll take a long time for City to play their game in hand. And so that'll be an advantage. But yeah, I wanted to win. Of course you want to win, but you're not going to win every game. You're never going to win every game. I think that we only have ourselves to blame, honestly. At the end of the day, we should have won this game. We absolutely should have won this game. We had opportunities to do so, and that's why you can't put this one on Arteta. The tactics were there, and I think that the effect Gyökeres had will go unnoticed completely. The work that Victor Gyökeres today did will go completely unnoticed. But in the end, he was the reason we were getting chances. He was the reason, because when he did have a good touch in the hold-up, we had a fast break forward. We got to break forward, and we had opportunities. Why we were reluctant to shoot today, I feel like there was a reluctance to shoot at times. I don't think Saka had any effect at all. Like I say, Eze wasn't great. The guys going forward, Trossard was okay, I guess, did a lot of defensive work, Explain to me, when Jesus and Gyökeres were working as subs off late, why was Jesus not brought in today? Jesus was not brought in today for the very fact that we were not playing through the lines at the end of the game. We weren't trying to do the false nine stuff. We weren't trying to play, nice passages through the lines, because Brentford were pressing very, very well. We struggled mightily to play through the lines today. It was very difficult. It was a lot of around the outside, a lot of into the channel, a lot of long ball. And so at the end of the game, when we're just hoofing it long time and time and time again, Jesus would have been the dumbest substitution ever. It would have been really dumb, because he's not a target man. And so because we were just kicking it long, Arteta knew that we had to have Gyökeres up there. We had to have the big presence, So if we were going to play their game, if we just devolved into playing their game, Jesus is not suited for that. And so Gyökeres had to stay up front. That makes total sense to me why he stayed in, because we just abandoned playing football and we were kicking it long and hoping for the best. And it still should have worked. That's the thing. It is worrying that in our desperation, we stopped playing fluid, passing, possession-based ball, and we were just rolling with the chaos, rolling with the punches, and sometimes that's how it goes. Sometimes it just devolves into that, and it didn't come out. We didn't get it over the line today. And we only have, like I say, Arteta, I thought the tactics were designed well, but the tactics went out the window. They went out the window. And so you can't blame Arteta for that, for making sure that, I think there was a little bit of panic, a little bit of desperation because Brentford pressed really, really well. And we never really worked it out. And so at the end of the game, when it devolved into chaos, we could have taken advantage of that. They could have taken advantage of that. So based on my initial analysis of what this game would be, which was a very tough midfield battle, that's what we saw. And that midfield battle was very even. And so the score was even. So, 1-1 is the result. If you look at the statistics, they literally have double our attempts and triple our shots on goal, which is very worrying. Which is a little misleading, I think. I thought we defended well, but I feel like when any team has to defend, that's why we're so good at corner kicks. That's why we, score so many corner kicks. The same thing that they did today was just set piece after set piece after throw in after throw in after set piece after corner kick after throw in. It gets tough to defend them. So many, one after another after another after another. It gets really tough to defend those. And so, we bent and we bent and we bent and eventually broke. And that's Brentford's strategy. You got to give them credit, man. That's, credit goes to them today. They certainly, it's nothing new. It's not like they surprised us. They're just really good at what they do, and I thought that we nullified Thiago, their main threat, pretty well today. But, as we know, margins are so fine. Margins are so fine in this, in title races. And we may look back. We may look back on this one. We may look back on this one at that David Raya save. He had a couple of good saves today. That's for sure. Brentford goal was from a long throw. Second half, it's a recurring tactic. I feel we could have countered via slow in the game or in playing in the ground. I absolutely agree, Charles. I absolutely agree 100%. That's what I was saying. We weren't doing that. We kind of gave up on passing it out from the back. I don't like to see that. I definitely don't like to see that we give up on what we're good at. But at the same time, we created enough to win the game. We actually did create enough to win this game. And the finishing let us down. At the end of the day, like that's all you can say is the tactics flew. It was a tough battle, but we still should have won it. So, we could have lost it as well. Of course, we could have lost it. It was a definitely fine margin, like I say. But I just feel like it's not necessarily as discouraging as it could have been. Or I think right now we're just fine. I don't think we need to panic. I definitely don't think the fan base should panic at all. I don't think we should freak out and have a meltdown. I would have been saying that a month ago. I would not have been saying that a month ago. And I definitely still think we're in prime position to win this title. I definitely think that, City will drop more points. It's not like they're going to be perfect for the rest of the year. I don't expect us to be perfect for the rest of the year. We may draw another game. We may actually lose another game. Who knows? But I think as far as, the negatives to take away, it's discouraging that we went away from passing it around out of the back. That is discouraging. And the finishing's got to be better. The finishing absolutely has to improve, but other than that, man, it's the Premier League is so hard. Like Arun said, like Arun was saying last night on the pod, the league's tough. League is absolutely tough. And you got to give credit for Brentford. Got to give credit to the Bees. They're having a fantastic season. Gave us a really, really tough game, as we knew they would. And, at the end of the day, if you draw your away games and win the home games, should be fine, generally, and so it's not that It's not so big of a worry for me. We're going to look up Man City's schedule here with this question. Do they still have to play Brentford? I imagine they do at some point still have to play Brentford. There's the cup final, Chelsea, then us, then Burnley. Why can't I see the rest of their fixtures? It only goes till the end of April. That's lame. Let me find a different site to find some different games. Their schedule, I think, is definitely harder than ours. They got to play Newcastle at home again. They still play Chelsea, as do we, of course. But yeah, I'm not too worried overall about the overall season. I think we're still in prime position, and I think we're still going to go on to win the league. I definitely want to see some rotation in the FA Cup. All right, City's fixtures. They have to play Brentford at home on Saturday, May the 9th. So they do still have to play Brentford. And it's at home. They play Villa on the last day. So yeah, and this is without Champions League fixtures put in there. So I think we're still going to be just fine, Charles. I think we're going to be just fine. This one, of course, stings. The bees stung us. Of course, we figured it was going to be a tough one, but finishing let us down in the end. Happy not to drop that one. Totally happy to get the point. And extend the lead at the top to 4. As Turkish said, we still haven't seen second place, since the 7th week of the season. Charles, you are 100% right with this one, brother. 100% right with this one. Obviously I get excited, emotional. I'm reactionary during the game, so I'm screaming at the referee and I'm cussing the referee. But at the end of the day, he was terrible for both teams. I thought he favored them a little bit, but then this right here is why you can't say nothing. You can't say anything about how shit the referee was, because he was bad, but Gabriel should have been sent off. Like, in the flow of the game with the calls that he was making, I'm actually shocked. I'm actually baffled that Gabriel didn't get sent off. I'm actually very, very shocked that Gabriel didn't get sent off. The ref was shit, but he gave us one here. He definitely let us off the hook here. I thought that he made a number of horrendous calls, but you can't say anything about him because at the end of the day, one went our way as well. So, and that was a big one. That was a massive one. No, it's not a huge issue if Gabriel misses Wolves, but you don't want people suspended for any game, for any reason. You definitely don't want people suspended for any game, and definitely not Gabriel. So, we definitely got away with one there. And that's why I after I calm down after the games, I normally, just go with, the refs were awful for both teams, and we move on. Sometimes we talk about specific decisions, of course, but today there wasn't really anything that was too crazy. I thought he was very, very quick to give them free kicks, but it's whatever, man. It's absolutely whatever. I think 1-1 in the end, if you consider that we didn't have our scoring boots, didn't have our finishing boots on today, and that the fact that they battled us probably 50-50 in the middle of the park. 1-1 is about fair. It's about right. So we pick ourselves up. We move on to the FA Cup on Saturday, Sunday, I believe our game is. And a lot of rotation I expect there, but I still expect us to put in a good performance and go through to the next round. So I definitely don't think that this is time to panic. I don't think that this is time to freak out and go on meltdown. Texas said he thinks Man City are favorites for the league. I think that's absolutely wrong. We are still definitely in pole position, and I still think that we're going to go on and win this league. Of course, there will be better days than this one ahead of us. I certainly believe it. But yeah, I definitely am grateful for everyone that's been here. Big up Charles, of course, every time. He's always around. Big up Duke Nukem. Asif was here, of course. Big up Arun. He was here. Texas every single time. I, of course, appreciate all you guys being here and commenting. And it really does help the stream. So smash up those likes on your way out. Like I said, it does help the channel. Subscribe if you are new. I really, really appreciate it. It would be my pleasure and honor to welcome you to the community. Of course, have that notification bell on because there's always more content coming down the pipeline. So I thank you, and you will see me next time.